Okay, let's check it out. Player housing, you say? That looks pretty cozy. Dude, that looks so cozy. Look at all the houses. My God. Okay. 50 plot instance neighborhoods. Public and private. Whoa. What? Okay. Okay, here we go. The construction of the new housing system in Azeroth is underway, and we're taking you behind the scenes, ERP time, baby, to give you an early look at what the housing development team has been working on. Watch your step and don't mind the dust. Hard hats are not required. Welcome home, adventurers. We're excited to kick off our first look at housing in World of Warcraft and share some of our philosophies and plans for the new feature with you. First up, we're focused on our high-level design pillars for housing, as well as talking about a few key areas of housing as we lay the foundation for future discussions. We have lots to cover, so let's jump in. Fortifying housing with pillars. When developing such large new feature, it's useful to start by first defining its pillars. They help the development team get on the same page before we start building, as well as providing a guiding light when making decisions and identifying problems or priorities. Sorry. It's important to note that while these pillars are broad in scope by their nature, they aren't all encompassing. Just because something isn't mentioned in a pillar doesn't mean it's not important to us or isn't part of the feature. Our 3 pillars of housing. Dude, that looks so cool. It looks so cool. That's like an orc troll looking house right there. Damn. Concept art for the new rugged decor. Ooh, oh, whoops. I'll click on that, I guess. That looks really cool. The rugged decor looks pretty sick. Boundless self-expression. Boundless. Our highest priority is to allow players to build a house that shows off their own personal tastes of their warbands, acts as a desired backdrop for role-playing, or just allows players to create something in a flight or fancy. The toolset should be easy enough for someone with no 3D experience to be comfortable with and to use successfully, but it should also be powerful enough that players can surprise us with their creations or drill down to get the tiniest details just right. The gamut of decor options spans not just the cultures of Azeroth, but many expansions in World of Warcraft as well. Okay. Second pillar, deeply social. World of Warcraft is more fun with other players sometimes. Am I right? And housing should be no different. While players can enjoy housing purely on their own, its systems are designed at a fundamental level to encourage interaction, playing, and progressing with friends, neighbors, guilds, and the wider community in a meaningful way. Okay, second pillar, sounds good. Third pillar, long-lasting journey. Housing is being built as an evergreen addition to the game, with its own roadmap reaching across multiple patches and into future expansions. Housing isn't something players should expect to finish, but instead continually look forward to the next housing release, be it new content or systems. This is a long-term commitment for us as developers and offers players rewards all along the way. Cool. One more important note. Even though it is not an explicit pillar, wide adoption is a primary consideration for us as well. Most players should want a house in Azeroth. Furthermore, housing is being designed to scale with the player's interests. If someone wants to spend dozens of hours per week on their house, that's great. If they're only interested in coming and going once or twice a month, that's great too. Okay. Zoning in on home. We've seen a lot of discussion and speculation from the community on where players will be able to have their houses. Yes, I'm actually very curious about this myself. We decided early on that there would be 2 housing zones available at launch, one for Alliance and one for Horde, with more possible places to live in the future. The Alliance zone takes inspiration from Elwyn Forest, with touches of Westfall and Duskwood. Nice. That's actually awesome. That's exactly how I want my home to be as an Alliance dude. The Horde's inspiration are by Durotar, its coastline, and Ajara. There are 2 main reasons for this decision. Having many housing zones conflicts with the second pillar of designing a feature that is deeply social. In a world where players can live in many different zones, they become increasingly spread out, and even with aggressive sharding, the chance of seeing other players is much less. Interacting with them drops quickly. That makes sense. Putting it bluntly, zones are a lot of work. We'd much rather do a great job with a small number of zones than do a passable job on a large number, or come up with solutions that take players out of the world into their own personal instance of a zone. We chose these as our standing points because of how iconic they are and for how respective factions and how much they feel like home to so many players already. I mean, that's true, right? Elwyn Forest, Westfall, Those are like staples of most Alliance players, unless you're like a Draenei. Pretty much everybody else has walked their way through the forest there. And then Durotar, you know, that is, of course, the home of Orgrimmar. You're right there. It makes sense, right? That's where most players, orcs and trolls, just start right there. Everybody ends up cycling through Orgrimmar eventually, right? We're excited for what we'll be able to accomplish with the two zones. We'll be sharing more of what this means in future updates. There is the outfitting your home. What is this? Concept for the new folk decor. This is like, this is giving me Dadgar vibes, right? This is Dadgar right here. This has got some Dadgar energy going on, in my opinion. It's very much like Alliance, of course. This is a cool home. I mean, look at the detail in here. This is insane. The hearth with all the, like the pot and the potions over here, and there's a clock, I think. And then you got like the curtains with the huge candelabra, and then the bedspread. I mean, you got a little violin fiddle thing going on here. So cool looking. Similarly, move this over here. Similarly, there have been discussions in the community on whether housing will be pay to play / win or not, along with other conversations about real world money. We've been very aligned with our internal conversations that housing is designed to be primarily player first and not revenue first. Housing will offer hundreds and hundreds of decorations and house customizations via in-game rewards, but will also offer a small number of items in the cash shop as well. Very interesting. So they're going to have some paid features. Now, this will be very interesting to see how many paid features there are, right? Like, I think if Blizzard wants to do this correctly, I'm fine with them having some things. A Bruto Boy recliner. Oh my god, a Bruto Boy, that would be amazing. I think it's okay that they have some things that are pay to play. I'm fine with that, actually. I just hope that the vast majority are free to acquire, and that the vast majority of good transmogs and like good decorations are also free to acquire. If they are gonna put like all of the really good decorations behind a paywall, then it becomes a serious problem for me personally. I really think that they need to be careful here, right? A small number of items in the cash shop, I mean, that's just gonna grow, right? Over time, the items in the cash shop, you're gonna add more and more. There's no way you're not gonna do that. Am I gonna be able to have a really cool looking chest in my... Am I gonna be able to get a really cool looking chest or a cool looking recliner? Or are the best looking ones going to be behind a paywall? They need to make sure that does not happen, in my opinion. There's a serious danger there. This is comparable to how transmogs and pets are currently handled in the game versus the shop. That's a little bit worrying because some of the best transmogs in the game are like from the shop, right? Some of the coolest mounts, like the Brutosaur, right? We want to allow players to have as many options as possible for creating the perfect home in Azeroth. Okay, a home for everyone. As part of our focus on wide adoption, we wanted to ensure that housing is available to everyone. If you want a house, you can have a house. No exorbitant requirements or high purchase costs, no lotteries, and no onerous upkeep. And if your subscription lapses, don't worry, your house doesn't get repossessed. That's actually kind of insane. Jeez. Can we live together in bunk beds? I don't know, Lynx. I hope so. Your houses are also shared amongst your warband, with your different characters being able to come and go as you see fit. So your orc character can hang out in your alliance house without a problem. That's really cool, actually. I kind of love the idea of your entire warband just hanging out in your house, right? Like, that's kind of cool. And maybe you can position them so you've got like 2 people are always sitting next to like the fire in the middle of the house, and there's some guy standing next to the table like making food, and there's some guy laying in the bed going to sleep. Like, I don't know, I think that's kind of cool. I'm gonna walk into my house and Lynx is gonna be parked in my bed permanently. I can feel it. I'm gonna try to go to sleep and Lynx will just be like, your bed is occupied at the moment. Like, get out of my bed, bro. That's definitely gonna happen. I can feel it already. Housing rewards are also shared across your warband, so you'll be able to use your decor collection no matter which character earns it. Hi, big boy. That's what you're going to say when you're... That's awesome. Right, so it's warband compatible. Very good. Furthermore, it's not just warbands that cross factional lines, but friendships as well. Oh my god, Lynx is actually going to be in my house, sleeping in my bed. You'll be able to live in or visit your friend or guildmates' houses and their neighborhoods with minimal restrictions regarding faction. For example, while it's not possible for your human character to buy a house in the Horde zone, your troll character in the same warband can. And then your human can use it as if it was their own. Okay, so that's cool. So you want to have a Horde looking house. You have a Horde character that purchases a house and it looks like this or whatever, right? And then your human bro can go hang out there as a part of your warband. That's pretty cool. That is very, very, very cool in my opinion. Will you be my neighbor? Question mark. Oh my god. Oh, look at this picture. That's kind of cool. Look at all the houses up in here. This is like the Duratar setting, right? Something's wrong with my nose. These are all the different houses. That looks really cool. I like the idea of a neighborhood, actually, where you can like walk around and see other people's houses. That's kind of interesting to me. I wonder though if there's going to be like a lock on the door. Like if there's if my house is right here and my neighbor's house is here and it's some random guy that I don't know, can I just walk down and visit his house and like open the door? Or do I have to have like a password? Do I need the Netflix password? If I'm your neighbor, will you have snacks? I will have snacks. If any of you guys want to visit my house, there will be snacks, okay? I guarantee you. Before we go, we want to mention that the concept of neighborhoods is a small tease. Houses are organized into roughly 50 plot neighborhoods, letting players live next to each other, work together, and share in the same rewards as being part of a neighborhood. Neighborhoods are instant, but crucially also persistent. So your neighbors can be your neighbors for years to come, or until one of you moves. So it sounds like you could move to a different neighborhood, which is kind of cool, actually. Neighborhoods also come in two flavors. Public neighborhoods, which the game servers are responsible for creating as needed and maintaining. Private neighborhoods are created by groups of friends or guilds to inhabit, progress, and customize together. Damn. So you can have a guild neighborhood. People were asking about having like a guild like house, but you can actually just have a guild neighborhood, which is really, really cool. So to me, I mean, that's the best way that they could have done it, I think. Oh, let me go big again here. Let me just zoom into here, I guess. I mean, I think that's a great way for them to do it. So basically, you've got your house, right? So Zuko's house is right here. But this is all my this is my guild like village or whatever, right? So all my buddies are like over here, right? And I can just walk down, I guess, and go check them out and go hang out at people's houses. Lynx is going to be here, of course, right? Lynx is just going to be hanging out here in my house, in my bed. It's actually kind of cool, right? Now we can all hang out together before we go do anything. I don't know. Here's my major question. What's the point in hanging out in my little guild like village? Like, what's the point in me being here? Because I can walk down here and I can go over to here probably and visit these guys. Is there any reason to go do that? Like, that would be a big question for me, right? Make this small again. Sorry. I love the idea of having a private neighborhood with all my guildies. I think that's super cool. But what's the point in that? Is there stuff that we can do together? Is there a reason for us to be there together? I don't know. While an individual player can have a house, a community can have a neighborhood. I think that's great. I think it's a really cool way for them to introduce this whole concept. This is just an initial look at the blueprint we've been working on for housing. There's a lot more ground to cover and details to get into. We look forward to your thoughts and feedback. I love it. I mean, I'm excited. This is a great tease. I think it's great to see what's going on here. Everybody can have a house. You can also have these neighborhoods with your guild or a bunch of people, basically, which is really cool. These public neighborhoods are interesting. Public neighborhoods, which the game servers are responsible for. I don't understand what that means. I guess if you're not part of like any guild and you just have a house somewhere, you're probably part of a public neighborhood. I guess you'll get to choose either way. You get your own house, your guildies can have their own houses, and you can link them all up in a neighborhood together. That is really cool in my opinion. And then the customization, you either have an alliance plot or a horde plot. But if you have, as a part of your warband, if you have other people that are like cross faction, they can visit your plot regardless of what alliance you are. So you can have everybody in your warband hanging out in your house, no matter what alliance they are, which is great, or what faction they are. I have another question for Blizzard, which is, if I have an alliance and a bunch of horde players, can I create a horde plot and an alliance plot and then go visit them separately? Can my entire warband go visit each one of those separately? That would be a big question that I would have. But on the surface, this looks amazing. I'm really excited about this. I'd actually love to hear what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about it. I think this is a great start. This is a fantastic start to this system, and I'm very excited to see where Blizzard goes with this. This is happening in like a year, by the way, right? Midnight is launching, and I think about a year from now. So I think this is, hopefully they're well on their way to making this a good system, but this looks amazing. Very excited about this.